Is the fashion world truly ready to embrace the style revolution brought by BTS's Jungkook? Or is the world simply not prepared to accept the boldness of a K-pop idol, who pushes the boundaries of conventional fashion norms with a look deemed too genderless by most of the Western public? Calvin Klein's latest campaign with Jungkook, which was supposed to be a strategic milestone in the global fashion marketing world, has instead turned into a whirlwind of controversy, heated debates, and even boycott threats from some conservative groups. It all started with one photo. Yes, just one photo of Jungkook wearing Calvin Klein's latest collection, and the world was shaken. When Calvin Klein's campaign featuring Jungkook in a genderless fashion collection debuted in early 2025, the public reaction was swift and brutal. The campaign was designed to break gender norms and promote inclusivity. But who would have thought that a global star like Jungkook would become the target of such sharp criticism? Some netizens claim that Jungkook's bold style undermines the image of masculinity long associated with the Calvin Klein brand. "This isn't about fashion anymore," wrote a Twitter user whose post went viral. "It's about how an Asian idol is being forced to become an icon of change that's too fast for Western culture." Meanwhile, another side of the internet celebrated Jungkook's presence as a fashion pioneer, challenging outdated norms and bringing fresh energy to the often rigid fashion industry. However, the question remains: why is Jungkook the target of accusations of damaging a brand like Calvin Klein, which has long been known for its iconic and experimental nature? Is it because of his status as a South Korean K-pop idol who has now conquered the Western world? Or is it because the campaign visuals deliberately blur the lines between masculine and feminine, leaving many people confused about whether they are seeing a fashion campaign or a new identity propaganda? These questions continue to circulate in the public sphere. Moreover, Jungkook's style in the latest ad not only highlights his slim, androgynous silhouette, but also showcases clothing designs that do not reflect the traditional masculine standards Calvin Klein has long promoted since its iconic era with male models like Mark Wahlberg. On one hand, Calvin Klein itself refers to its collaboration with Jungkook as part of its 2025 global strategy to expand the brand's reach to a younger generation that is more open-minded, progressive, and digitally savvy. Jungkook is seen as the perfect figure to convey the message that fashion is not exclusive to one gender, one race, or one body type. But who would have thought that this decision would spark a storm of opinions they never imagined? Many observers note that Calvin Klein took a high risk by bringing Jungkook's big name into the fashion world, which has long been dominated by Western models. However, is this a calculated risk or a fatal blunder? Various fashion forums like Vogue Runway and the Fashion Law even held special sessions to discuss how Calvin Klein's campaign openly challenges old fashion norms. They noted that using Jungkook in the ad is a double strategy. On one hand, Calvin Klein aims to boost sales through ARMY's loyal fan base, and on the other, they seek to create a revolutionary moment that could shift the direction of global fashion. But the crucial question now is Jungkook the victim in this grand plan? Some industry analysts even suggest that Jungkook might just be a marketing tool without being given the space to realize that he is being displayed in a larger cultural conflict between East and West, beyond just an underwear campaign. Most fans, especially ARMY, are fiercely defending Jungkook. They argue that Jungkook is simply being himself and should not be blamed for the divided public opinion. If you're bothered by how Jungkook expresses himself through fashion, maybe what you need to change is your mindset, not how he dresses, wrote one international fanbase account with over 2 million followers. However, as the campaign continues to gain traction across various media platforms, groups have begun openly voicing their objections. Some parent associations in the US have even lodged complaints with Calvin Klein, demanding that the ad featuring Jungkook in revealing attire and ambiguous poses be removed, as it is deemed inappropriate for a young audience. More surprisingly, Calvin Klein's official website experienced a crash just a few hours after the campaign was launched. Upon further investigation, this is not the first time a Calvin Klein campaign has sparked controversy. But this time is different. This time, the person involved is Jungkook, a superstar with a clean image, extraordinary fan loyalty, and global influence across continents. When a brand like Calvin Klein associates itself with Jungkook, it's not just attracting fashion followers, but also opening the door to the opinions of over 100 million fans with high expectations. They don't just want to see Jungkook looking stylish, they also want him to be respected as a complete cultural icon, not just a commercial object. The fact that Calvin Klein's genderless collection is now the top-selling trend in countries like South Korea, Japan, Indonesia, and France proves that Jungkook's fashion sense has significant appeal. However, controversy continues to loom. Several news outlets in the US have begun questioning the brand's new direction. Is Calvin Klein still Calvin Klein, or is it now just a shadow of K-pop dominance? Asked an editorial from a conservative fashion media outlet. Some European fashion industry executives even claimed that Calvin Klein had sold its soul for the sake of sales figures from the Asian market. Meanwhile, Jungkook himself has not issued an official statement regarding the controversy. However, from various behind-the-scenes photos circulating online, it is clear that Jungkook is comfortable and confident in the controversial Calvin Klein collection. He poses boldly for the camera, with a controlled expression, and a style that seamlessly blends feminine and masculine elements. Jungkook seems to be sending a message. This is me and I don't need permission to be like this. But is the world ready to accept that message? The impact of this campaign is also beginning to be felt among competitors. Brands like Tommy Hilfiger and Balenciaga are reportedly reevaluating their approach to the K-pop market. There are even rumors that some brands have halted negotiations with K-pop artists out of fear of facing a similar backlash. This serves as clear evidence that Jungkook's bold move could shake up global marketing strategies. What's even more astonishing is that some fans have noticed that Calvin Klein deliberately chose a theme of a luxurious dinner with restaurant flowers and an exclusive banquet-style backdrop to blend masculine-feminine aesthetics with an atmosphere that blurs the boundaries between public and private spaces. Such visuals align with Planteria Group's strategy, which by 2025 aims to promote natural aesthetics in restaurant environments for customers' psychological comfort. However, in the context of Jungkook's campaign, this setting becomes a symbol of irony, polished beauty shrouded in unseen controversy. Some critics argue that while the campaign was commercially successful, it failed ethically. They question whether Calvin Klein genuinely advocates for inclusivity or merely capitalizes on the genderless narrative for profit. They also wonder if Jungkook was given the space to determine the message of his appearance, or simply followed the directives of a global creative team that did not consider the impact in his home country. Regardless, these questions highlight the depth of the debate now surrounding Jungkook's name. Now, the biggest question hanging in the air is, will this controversy halt Jungkook's progress in the international fashion world, or will it prove that he is a true pioneer? Will Calvin Klein choose another K-pop idol, or will they shift to a more conservative approach? And will the global community finally accept that fashion doesn't have to follow outdated rules, that the courage to be different is a strength, not a threat? Time will tell. But one thing is certain, Jungkook's name is no longer confined to the music world. He has become an icon of cultural revolution, whether consciously or not. And this Calvin Klein campaign is merely the beginning of a new chapter, one that is wilder, more turbulent, and more emotionally charged than anything we've seen before. However, this story does not end with the public reaction. Behind the controversy and heated debate lies a much deeper emotional dynamic, from Jungkook himself, the Calvin Klein creative team, and the fans who now feel a moral responsibility to protect their idol from baseless criticism. Is this campaign truly crossing the line? Or is the world simply not yet ready to accept diversity in its purest form? An internal source from Calvin Klein's creative team revealed that from the outset of the project, they were aware that collaborating with Jungkook would inevitably spark extraordinary reactions, both positive and negative. We knew that Jungkook represents the face of a new generation. He has the power to change the world's perception with just one appearance. But what we didn't anticipate was how quickly and intensely the wave of criticism would come, said one of the lead designers involved in the campaign photo shoot. The production team even considered delaying the campaign launch out of fear of a cultural clash between conservative values in some parts of America and the free-spirited interpretation of fashion from the East and South Korea itself. Reactions were mixed. Local media highlighted how Jungkook, known as BTS's golden magne, now appears more mature, bold, and different from the image he built since his debut. Some pop culture observers view this as a form of aesthetic emancipation, where Jungkook is no longer confined to the sweet and polite visual construction of an idol. He is now challenging that narrative, even consciously breaking away from it. However, on the other hand,